Hey, what's up, Anna? This is a quick demo video for you for your race Scavenger by KR Sabers. You had sent this with the Goth Master chassis kit from KR, so that's what we've got in it. All right. This is a very unique saber. It has a very unique switch section. Everything about this guy is unique. The fins over here on your emitter. There's a lot of moving parts there. You have a stock V3 MPXL in there, as you can see, and I'll show you that light up here in a second. I did get all three of the fonts that you sent. So we've got the Sorcerer, we've got Dark Saber font, and we've also got Scavenger, all by Kyberphonic. All right, to get to the chassis, what you want to do is grab the pommel and do a quick, sorry, it doesn't have to be quick, but do a clockwise turn. It will unclick like that, and then you can pull it back. All right, chassis might come out with it a little bit, but just be careful. You can slide this off, and then you have to take out this chassis a certain way. All right, so pull it straight back, and I'll show you what I mean by that here in a second. When you look at this handle, on the back you'll see a screw here, and 180 degrees you'll see another screw, and those two screws stick into the hilt. You can see it sticking out right here, and then it's a little hard to see, but if I turn it around, you could see it sticking in right there, right? Those line up with your chassis. So you've got a groove right here, as you can see, and then another one up top here. Those are slots for those two screws. So it goes in one way, and it has to come out that way. If you pull it halfway out and you turn it, and you try to bring it out this way, it's not going to come out. All right, so it's going to take a little bit of getting used to. It's not too bad, but once you do it a few times, you'll be fine. But here is your master chassis. Try to show it off a little bit before we talk about it. It's a very beautiful piece. This is a one button setup saber, so your one button is on the cog and it spins here. But when you have this chassis out, it also comes with a brass tactile switch right here so that you can operate the chassis outside of the saber. All right. Coming down, you've got a crystal here. It's got a rotating plasma gate up top. These doors do open. One opens here and the other one opens on the other side. They close with magnets, but you can open them up and you can get a full view of your crystal chamber. So over here and then over here, and I'll show you that again when it's all lit up. But when you close these, they find their own way home on magnets, and they'll stay exactly where they need to. So your crystal has its own Neopixel accent. Your plasma gate spins. If you come down further around this area right here, you have a red LED. Coming down a little bit further, you have a yellow LED. And then in this grill section here, you have another two yellow LEDs. So you have a lot of shine through. As far as your red and yellow LEDs, I made them react to sound. All right. And then I programmed your crystal and everything else to do a little something different. You do have a removable battery setup with a kill switch right here. So you could take your battery out from here. You would want to do it from the positive side. If you can't get it with your finger, sometimes you can just use a tool. Flathead screwdriver or a pair of tweezers or something, just reach in there and just kind of pop it out. Just needs a little bit of help to come out, and then it comes out just like that. All right, so there's your battery compartment. The spring side or the negative side of your battery will go towards your kill switch always. Okay, so we'll put it back in there. This is the battery that came with your saber. Of course, you've got your board cover here. If you ever do need to get to your board, the board cover is just held on with magnets, so you can pull it off. It looks like that on the inside. I do put a small piece of electrical tape over here to hide the wiring because there is an awful lot of wiring going on behind this board. I don't want you to see it, but there's nowhere to put it, right? So for me, the easiest way to hide it was just a piece of electrical tape, and then with the board cover on, it covers everything and you never see it. All right, it looks just like that. There is a copy of the config file that I used on your SD card, so if you ever want to make any changes, you can get on there and you can see what I did. All right. So after all that, we'll go ahead and we'll turn it on.
You don't just have power, you have his power.
So you could see how the LEDs reacted to sound. We'll do that one more time. I'll turn it off. We'll turn it back on, and then you'll notice this midsection reacts to sound.
Why did the Emperor come for me? kill a child.
And I've got your crystal pulsing. So if we open up the doors, you can see your crystal a little bit better. Nice and bright there. If I come over here and turn it on, you get your plasma gate spinning. Of course, all your LEDs are on now because there's sound to the saber. So you see you got your red LED. You can see that yellow shine through about right there in the middle. And of course, we try to light up all this down here too. All right, so we can close those doors. When you close the doors, you can still see your plasma gate spinning. And then you've got twist off. And everything will stop just like that. All right, now from here, we want to put it in the saber. I'll go one more sound font though. The sorcerer sound font and the dark saber sound font are a little bit the same because the blade colors are the same. So I wanted the crystal to match. You know, the dark saber would be a white blade. The Ahsoka saber would be silver, but for all intents and purposes, they look very similar. To get to another sound font, you would just hold down the power for a second.
Ahsoka Tano! Bo-Katan sent me.
And now we have a white crystal pulsing. Until we turn it on, it will be a white crystal to match your blade. Where before it was yellow to match the yellow blade that I'll show you here in a second for the Scavenger font. All right. But from here, to put this in, we'll want to remember to line up these two grooves here with those two screws, right? So just take your time. It's a little bit of a tight fit, but once you get past that, it's not too bad. You go all the way up until it stops. It's going to stop and bounce about right here. All right. Here's the point where you take your pommel. You got that J-lock system. So a J-lock piece right here, another piece in the back. Those match up with those two screws. So just come over here, slide the pommel on nice and gently. Find those two screws. Push up into the saber and do a counterclockwise turn. And that locks everything into place. So now it's locked into place. Here's where it gets a little bit tricky. You turn this cog clockwise to open your fins. And as soon as it opens a certain amount, it's going to touch on that tactile button. You have to click the tactile real quick and then back off of it. Now you got shine through in all your windows. Very loud. Blaster bolts, deflex is just a quick tap on the button. If you're fast enough, you can do it with your thumb, like that. And we'll turn it off. Now, I went through here and I cleaned the gears like it shows on the directions from KR Sabers. I greased them a little bit, so this cog is pretty easy to move. But it still has just the tiniest amount of resistance. All right, so you just want to be careful with that. But it is possible to do it with your thumb, right? Just like that. Now up here you have 4 screws. They're all flathead screws, but only one of them is a blade retention because it's about 1 millimeter longer than the other 3. So what I did was I came in here with a silver Sharpie and I just colored that one so you would know which one out of the 4 is your blade retention. All right, so we'll come over here. I'm going to put my short TriStar blade in here for now. But we'll want to take that blade retention screw and back it out of the blade socket. Go ahead and throw our blade in here. You'll notice these fins only open just enough to accept that blade. Okay, it looks like it's going to be, those fins are riding right on the blade. And that's normal. I'm not going to use the blade retention because it is a pretty snug fit and it's holding my blade pretty well. You might want to do some sanding to a brand new blade that you get and then also use your blade retention. Okay, but we got that blade in there. We're going to go ahead and turn on. Very bright. To play your soundtracks, because every sound font has one, it's a double click on the tactile switch. So it'll take a little getting used to, but you can do it.
Ray Skywalker.
Whoops. Just like that. Another double click to turn it off. Just like that. All right.
Ahsoka Tano! Bo-Katan sent me.
The Ahsoka font. Now again, to train or switch sound fonts, it's a long press on the tactile.
The dark saber. It belongs to you.
Ray Skywalker.
Now we're on the Scavenger. Yellow blade to match your yellow crystal, right? Good flash on flash. Very solid saber once everything is put together. One more. Blast your bolts with your thumb. You're basically just going over it real quick and then coming off. If you don't want to twist off, you can just hold the switch until it turns the blade off like this. All right, but I find that twist off is a lot cooler because it works just like that. All right, we'll go ahead and we'll take this blade out, and then we'll go over. You can either take your battery out, or you can just flip your kill switch. I'll put this up here. We'll go ahead and close this all the way. You will want to periodically come through and check all of these tiny screws because they have a tendency sometimes to back out with prolonged use, you know, going like this all the time. So just check these out every once in a while. The outsides, open this up, check the inside ones, make sure everything's nice and tight so you don't lose anything because those are very, very tiny. All right, but when we're done, we'll come over here and we'll pop the pommel back off. You can take the chassis out like this if you want. Just be careful. Slide the pommel off like this. When we take the pommel all the way off, we can just come over here and flip the kill switch, but I'll turn it on first. So that when I flip the switch, it kills everything just like it should. Okay, so that is basically your Ray Scavenger with Master Chassis. Let me know if you got any questions. And if not, we'll get this out in the mail to you. Well, it's Friday today and my post office is closed tomorrow, so this will go out first thing Monday morning. All right? Thank you.